Melbourne prog rock band, the Benders, and played for 8 months in a lot of venues, though not to a lot of people. I perfected the onstage bosom flash at the drummer to see if he would skip a beat, but he never did. We both got jack of it, not my bosom flashes of course, but we both got jack of the Benders, and within the year we'd run away to Sydney to form a band. In response to the excessive playing we did with the Benders, Do Re Mi's first shows avoided the beer barns and grungier clubs and instead opted for the art spaces. After we were signed by management and record companies and the first single from our debut album became a surprising chart topper, we hit the road big time, around 300 gigs in that year. You can't really do that anymore, can you? Wonderful memories of bellowing out Bring the Hammer Down at the Trade Union Club, playing Standing on Wires at the ANU, with frenzied crowds hurling toilet rolls at the stage as stand-ins for streamers. Playing Man Overboard to 100,000 people at the Milk Festival in Amsterdam. In 1986, in the Oz for Africa concert at the Sydney Entertainment Centre that was televised around the world. Unforgettable. We supported Culture Club, UB40, Simple Minds, Too Many to Remember, over 8 years, and then we went our separate ways. I launched my solo career in 1989 after a few false starts and eventually recorded what became String of Pearls. It came out in 1991 and me and my band, the Mothers of Pearl, featuring the late great Peter Jones on drums, cranked up for a year-long tour. Bitch Epic came out in 1993 and me and the Mothers, who I probably should have renamed Sons of Bitches at that point, but I didn't, hit the road again. Ultrasound was a band project, influenced, of course, by the fact that I just had an ultrasound, with the much-missed Paul Hester. And there was more touring to accompany it. But the show I remember most from that year was a duo with Willie, or perhaps it was a trio, performance at Melbourne's Comedy Theatre on the 10th of February, 1995. Memorable for the gasp that went up from the audience as me and my 8.5-month-old pregnant belly bounced up and down on stage. Our first daughter was born 3 days later. Probably due to the aforementioned aerobics, and maybe not curiously now, she also treads the boards. Wish they were here. You did what? You are what? Who are you? Touring and pregnancy became inextricably linked after that. Projectile vomiting is not unknown in both circles. And there were a couple of shows in 1997 memorable for all the wrong reasons. Still, the red sequin dress with the gold mesh cutout heart edged with rhinestones and stretched over my belly was a crowd favourite. And the ensuing progeny, second daughter, has become a gifted singer in her own right. I have so much to be grateful for, playing with so many extraordinary musicians that I've toured with over 4 decades of live music performance. From lush symphony orchestras to spiky avant-garde jazzes, from incredible chamber ensembles to darkly energised rock and rollers. The gorgeously talented participants of the 4 iterations of Broad Concerts, my all-female review. The cast of Always Patsy Cline, the concerts in celebration of David Bowie, and the countless completely acoustic summerwear parties or home concerts Willie and I pioneered in 2004 for thousands of lounge room listeners. There are so many people to thank over the course of a 40-year career, and I haven't got time to mention everyone's names. To all the wonderful men and women who I've ever been in a band with, some gone to God, though most still with us. You guys are the best of the best. To all the wonderful artists who ever said yes to one of my harebrained schemes. To Dorlan Bray, Stephen Phillip, Helen Carter and Keith Welsh. To Michael Gudinski, Amanda Perlman, Frank Stavala, Richard Pleasance, Peter Farnan, Andre Greenwell, John Nichols, Mark O'Mara, Pierre Baroni, Roger Grisson, James Black, Jerry Hale, Dave Williams, Vicar and Linda Bull, Jack Spira, Paulie Higginson, Miranda Brown, Deborah Murphy, Erica Hart, Paul Mason, Paul Grabowski, Kate Sobrano, to my long-suffering parents who sent me to a shrink when I joined my first band, but who eventually became my biggest fan, to my sister Shelley, who's been there through the thick and the thin, to our glorious grown-up daughters, who have provided plenty of songwriting inspiration and lent their vocal talents to shows and records, and to our stalwart fans, the bitch listers, LJ, Pears, Groups, you all know who you are, who support our shows and work so hard to spread the word beyond the coterie of followers. To all of you who have ever believed in our varied endeavours, and unconventional methods. Huge gratitude. But let's get back to 1991. I was putting a band together to embark on an extensive touring schedule to promote my debut album. One guitarist came highly recommended. Willie Zigger was a gifted guitar player with an unusual pedigree, having worked as a sideman jazzer for Vince Jones and other luminaries, but had also led a number of his own alternative art bands. He turned down my first offer, saying his band had a gig. Not to be deterred and frankly intrigued to meet a musician who would turn down a year's worth of touring for a single show, I pushed back my tour start date and tried again. We met for tea at my East St Kilda flat next to the Sandringham line, and thus began a partnership that has produced more than 10 albums, 4 concert series abroad, 3 children, 2 Jewish music festivals, countless live shows and concert tours, and that has inspired me for the best part of 30 years. I believe, while tonight I'm absolutely thrilled to accept this wonderful accolade, it must be shared equally with my insanely talented husband, co-songwriter, collaborator, toughest critic, father of my 3 daughters, and best friend, Willie Zigger. Homo sapiens have been participating in the creation of live music in some form or other for millennia, for sacred and secular reasons. On the other hand, the history of recorded music is a minuscule brief 130 years old, though it's had an incredible impact on how we think music should sound now. Ironically, with the advent of increasingly sophisticated methods of both documenting and distributing recorded music, we have come to an interesting historical moment in our industry. Once again, recorded music is secondary to live music. It is merely the calling card for the real deal, which happens in venues from vast to intimate everywhere. Who would have predicted that? And what a wonderfully surprising outcome. While I've heard some despairing about the decline of record sales, signalling the end of music, I prefer to believe it's only the beginning. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you very much.